manner. Why do you now feel it's okay to go ahead?
Thank you. The reason why we have decided to go ahead with it is because already it was as an assembly property. It was an item that we had actually brought before the assembly because already the communication that had been done in the assembly meant that already the governor had communicated to us this name, and we had taken it as our property. Now we were dealing with it. Why we stopped is because the court actually issued an injunction. And court by issuing an injunction does not mean that they killed it. They only held it temporarily because of certain reasons that they felt were not clear to them. But now that the court has actually adjudicated the matter and so that it is actually fit for Ann to continue with the process.
Is that really what happened?
Yes, exactly. That's what happened.
Some would say that the petitioner simply withdrew the case.
The petitioner withdraws, but he has to withdraw within the legal parameters. He withdrew from the court. He went to court. The court had also a reason to refuse. But when the court decided to allow the withdrawal, it means the court had looked at it and saw that even the person who withdrawing had no proper reason of coming to the court. That's why he withdrew the case. You
see it from a very interesting perspective. What happens to the issues that the petitioner raised in the first place? Is that something that concerns you as a county assembly? For example, he questioned how this nomination could possibly contravene orders issued by the anti-corruption court against Sonko, then, who had been charged with graft. Could a Sonko who had been charged with graft procedurally nominate a deputy? That's one. They also asked about the timing of her nomination, arguing that there's a high possibility that she could be seen to interfere with an investigation that involved the person who nominated her, the governor then. Again, as a county assembly, do you not see issues with that?
Why do you want us to see issues with only the nomination of Ann Kananu and not so many other duties that Sonko carried on even after being in court?
That's the matter before us tonight.
Sonko did so many other things. Kananu's issue was only one of them, but he did so many other things actually after going to court process. So it doesn't mean that when Ann's issue was one of them, we have to actually look at Ann and close our eyes to the others that he did. In fact, Ann's issue is very small compared to so many other things that Sonko did after coming from court. So we can't actually discriminate on Ann and say that she was nominated after the governor had been taken to court.
Okay, well, Sonko is also not here, so we won't talk about all the things he did. As a county assembly, you know what happened with that impeachment. Yes. So, which then makes me wonder, so how is this then going to play out? Let's say you clear her, for example, then what next? She then starts acting as the deputy governor with the speaker as the acting governor? How? That's a scenario we've never seen before.
The speaker is only acting in the absence of the governor. Once we clear Ann and the process goes to the full length, then it definitely means that Ann becomes the deputy governor. When the deputy governor is in office, then the deputy speaker, the acting governor, who is the speaker, comes back to his office.
But the constitution only envisions a scenario when the speaker goes back to office when a new governor has been sworn in after being elected.
Yes.
Article 182. So how are you interpreting this differently?
That is in a scenario now where we don't have the deputy governor. But you see, here now, Ann was a property that was already within the assembly. She was actually nominated before the governor was impeached.
But she was
so
not
if it were not for the court order, actually by now should have been the deputy governor.
But she was not a substantive deputy governor. Do you not see an issue with that? That when Sonko was impeached, there was no deputy governor in office?
Well, but there was a name that already was in the assembly that was just awaiting the processing. It was only injuncted by the court. But the fact that the court injuncted the process, it does not mean that it was not existing. It was existing within the assembly, and it is our role to make sure that we go through with the process now that the court has allowed us.
Okay, let's talk scenarios. What happens if she then becomes the deputy governor, she starts acting as the governor, someone moves to court and says there are two governors in Nairobi. There's the speaker, who's still the governor until an election is held, as per the constitution, and there's Ann, who's now the deputy governor, who
they can never be.
Can you see how someone could?
They can never be two. They can never be two at the same time, because the existence of the deputy governor, the deputy governor, actually clears the existence of the acting governor. Automatically, when Ann takes position, then the acting governor, who is the speaker, comes back to his office. There's no way there are going to be two of them there.
Will there be a by-election in Nairobi?
Well, that I can't say, because we have to go through with this process, and if we process it properly and then it gets to conclusion, then we'll be having a deputy governor. And you know, when we have a deputy governor, I don't have to answer you what will happen after that.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Geoffrey Majiwa, Deputy Speaker, Nairobi County Assembly, helping us understand a little bit about the place we find ourselves in. In case any of you are asking, just remind us again, Ann Kananu, tell us a bit more about her.